Hey everybody, I was gonna do a react video and I was watching my best friend Dave Ramsey and he was talking about real estate stuff, and you know how I feel about real estate stuff. And it occurred to me that I've been saying if you have a loan under 4%, you should hold on to it. 4% and under, you should hold on to it and invest your money instead. And if it's anything over that, you can talk about paying it off. But I haven't really put the numbers in there to show you why that's the case. So today I've switched from a react video to a numbers video. Yay! Hey everyone, my name's AJ. Welcome to the Wealthy Idiot Show. Today I want to break down some numbers.
Oh, greetings! It is I, the Count.
As to when it makes sense to hold on to your loan for your home and when it makes sense to buy a home with cash or pay off your mortgage quicker. Where does that line exist? I'm going to show you where it exists so that you know how to make good decisions when paying off your home, buying a home, making giant financial decisions about homes. All right, let's take a look at the chart. We're going to compare two circumstances. One is a mortgage at 5% where we put 20% down, and then another one where the home purchase is cash. In both of our cases, the home will be $1 million. It's just a nice round number. Doesn't have to be $1 million, just easy to do the math on that. But this applies to any scale. So if you were to lower the scale down to 500,000, it would be the same. So let's start with looking at a mortgage of 5%. So the first thing we have to do is put down $200,000. So that's right out of our pocket. We lose $200,000. The next thing is over the course of 30 years, because we're looking in these things in terms of a 30-year time frame. So I get, some people are going to move. That's a new consideration. I think the math still works because, over a 7-year time frame, 10-year time frame, the numbers are just scaled way down. But in this case, we're going to do a 30-year time frame. Over that 30-year period, you're going to end up paying $1,650,000 more on top of that original $200,000. Then you will own a home that will be worth $3.2 million. So how am I getting that? So if you take your $1 million home and you take an average of 4% appreciation a year, at the end of that 30-year period, your home will be worth $3.2 million. Now 4% is the average for the United States. However, in some areas it's much higher and in some areas it's much lower. So the smart thing to do would be to look into where it is that you plan on buying and making sure you're buying in an area that you expect to go up in terms of population and growth for businesses and just in quality over time. And lastly, we're going to take our leftover $800,000. So our home was $1 million. We paid $200,000 of it into our down payment. We left the other $800,000 in our investments that grew 7% on average every year. And at the end of the 30-year period, we're left with $6.1 million. So we started off with $1 million, and then we bought a house. We bought a house with a mortgage. We kept our in the $800,000 in investments, and so at the very end of our 30-year period, we have $7,450,000. So pretty good. We're making good money. Now let's look at the cash side. So we're going to take a house and we're going to buy a house with cash for $1 million. So immediately we lose our $1 million, but we traded it for a $1 million house. In 30 years, that $1 million house with a 4% appreciation every single year will be worth $3.2 million. So same as the other side. But in this case, we're going to take our mortgage payment and we're going to invest it into the market. So let's assume we have nothing in the market, and we're going to take, because we used our entire $1 million on our home, and we're going to take that money we would have put in our mortgage into the investments, or into investments like index funds, and we end up with $5.2 million at the end of that 30-year period. And ultimately, that comes out to be $7.4 million. So as you can see, these are really close numbers showing how equal it is at that 5% interest rate on a loan, how equal it is if you were to pay off your mortgage or if you were to just buy the home outright versus getting a loan and then paying it off over time. They end up almost about the same at 5%. So what we did is we chopped off 1% and we said everything 4% and lower, you should hold on to that because your benefits from investing are going to be so much higher than what it is that you're losing in paying those interest payments on your home. And over that 30-year time frame, as the interest rate goes down, the lower the interest rate you have away from 5%, the higher your mortgage, this mortgage column is going to look, and the lower this cash column is going to look, and you're going to end up with way more wealth in the long run. So as you can see, in terms of purchasing your home, your own personal home, and getting a loan versus paying it off and then investing that money, if you have something under 5%, you're going to end up positive if you invest that money first and take an investment first mindset. And that's why we teach here, investment first. Get that loan, hold on to it, it's okay, pay off or invest as hard as you can into the markets, and at the end of that 30-year time frame, you're going to be looking pretty solid. I get that not everyone is capable of doing that. We've had some interesting comments about people just feel better. They don't have the debt, they can pay their home off, and then they can invest. And as you can see, there's paying off your home or buying your home with cash is not terrible. The numbers come out to be pretty solid even with that. If you're trying to maximize your wealth, if you have a loan under 5%, I would keep it and keep investing. Another thing that's interesting to note here that I like to point your attention to is that if you were to consider in terms of real estate investing instead of the house you live in, but in terms of real estate investing, if you buy the house with a mortgage, your renters are paying that portion of the mortgage, that $1.6 million. You're not paying that yourself. So you're really taking advantage of the fact that you're only putting down $200,000. You're not paying the mortgage, your renters are paying the mortgage. And at the end of that time frame, $200,000 turns into 7.4. That's a crazy return on investment. It's a huge reason why I like real estate. And I think in some time in the future, we'll start breaking down those numbers. I know this episode was complex. We went over some numbers. You can get on our calculators on wealthyidiots.com and play around with these numbers yourself and see when it makes sense to invest versus pay for things in cash. But I want to encourage you to go back if you need to, take a look at it, look at this sheet, maybe screenshot it, share it, it's totally fine. Try to really digest the information that's there so that you can make good financial decisions to build your wealth. Until next time, I'm AJ, this is the Wealthy Idiot Show. Thanks for stopping by.